Let's get more from a Manchester United perspective then and speak to Adam Stott from the United Stand. Adam, very good afternoon to you. What's the overall emotion then from United supporters? Are the champagne corks popping, the welcome back banners up because Ronaldo's returns?
Not quite, to be honest. With Ronaldo, it's one of them. We understood last season how well he played. He was probably one of the few players that United fans would say actually earned his corn, you would say, actually performed to the capabilities that we know he can, unlike the rest of the team. But right now we're looking at it and the promise with Ten Hag in charge now, and from what we've seen on pre-season, how well the players are playing as a team, and that was one thing that was criticised last season. It was more individual and mainly around Ronaldo, but we're seeing how the team are playing now together without Ronaldo, and it poses the question as like, do we really want Ronaldo back in the team? With some of the fans looking at it this way, we see more promise from the likes of Martial and Rashford again now, linking up well with Jadon Sancho in that front three, and it's a case of like, this is going to be a big decision for Ten Hag to make. It is pretty much on that. It's like, is he going to fit into this new system that we're all seeing now?
There you make about the decision that Erik Ten Hag has to make. Do you think that Manchester United supporters, because this is seen as a fresh start for the club with a new manager, would be happy and accepting if Erik Ten Hag said, "Do you know what, thanks very much, but clear off, or go and sit in the under-23s, we'll work without you"?
This is it. I think most of the fan base now are fully behind Erik Ten Hag. We want to see a new structure put in place. Structure has been the big word with a lot of the fan base that it doesn't seem like the club has had in recent years under other managers. We're seeing Erik Ten Hag put a system in place straight away. He's in control of every single thing that the players do. We know that from what the players have been saying in the interviews, like from when we've just been on tour now, from what they were saying, he's coming across really well. The message is coming across, and if Erik Ten Hag, for me personally, and maybe quite a few of the other fans, said, "Look, Cristiano, if you're not willing to play for this team, then fair enough, you can go and sit on the sideline." Maybe it's different with Ronaldo simply because of who he is and the stature that he carries, but I do think that the fans now are at a place where they'd rather see a team, and they'd rather see a Manchester United team rather than an individual player. It always seems to be an individual performance over the last few years, and if Erik Ten Hag came out and said now that we're planning ahead and Ronaldo isn't going to be part of this, then I don't think a lot of the fan base would have a problem with that.
Talk there about structure and messages from Erik Ten Hag, and you said in your first answer Cristiano Ronaldo did his job last year, but was there ever the thought from the fan base as a whole that to get the best out of Ronaldo, you lose parts of everywhere else on the pitch? And it was a theme with United, but also at Juventus. His goals are fine, the rest of the team's goals go down.
Well, prime example of that was the season before. Bruno Fernandes was our star player, standout player, looked to be the leader on the pitch. We've had our best finish in the Premier League season post Sir Alex Ferguson. Bruno Fernandes was the spearhead of that, and it seemed to be everyone was contributing in a way that you'd expect them to. But with Ronaldo last season, you're right in what you say. It seemed to be you had to adapt a system around Cristiano Ronaldo to make him work. You sort of have to accept that if you're going to buy Ronaldo, there's going to be a bit of sacrifice in the rest of the team. But I think now, knowing that even with Cristiano Ronaldo in the team last year, playing as well as a lot of people have said he has, we still finished the season with our worst ever points teller in Premier League history, and that was with Cristiano Ronaldo. So there is a problem there, and there is something that needs addressing, and I do think that the United fans would rather see the team playing well rather than an individual, even though that is Cristiano Ronaldo and the love affair he's got with the fans, and everyone here loves Ronaldo. Like I said, it is one of them cases now where we'd rather just see good football played from the defence all the way up to the attack, and we'd like to see a team linked together rather than Ronaldo. He basically pulled us out of the mire a few times last season with his hat-trick performances against Norwich, against Spurs. It was all about Ronaldo. We want it to be about Manchester United and the club moving forward, especially the team on the pitch.
Yeah, that goes back to the message, doesn't it, Adam, that there's been this perception of Manchester United for a couple of seasons that it's just 11 blokes walking around and there's no cohesion to it, which is one of the key things that Erik Ten Hag needs to try and bring.
Exactly that, and the fact that Erik Ten Hag he's in charge of the players. It looks like from what's happened on pre-season, it looks like he is on the pitch. He's right there in front of the players. We've seen him dressing down Jadon Sancho in open training sessions. We've seen him not really caring about who the player is. He's in charge solely. His backroom staff are there with him, but from what we're seeing in pre-season, he's there, he's forefront of everything, and his message is coming across. And like I said before, you can hear it in the players and the way they talk about it. And Bruno Fernandes has said it himself. He said this is what we needed. This is the type of manager that we needed to actually get this team, because you can see the players are there, and yeah, on paper it looks like a good team. There's no excuse for this team to perform as bad as they did last season. And I think Erik ten Hag, we're all hoping. He's obviously unproven still, and it's cautious optimism at the moment from what we've seen on pre-season. But he looks like that type of manager that we have needed, and the fact that he is there on the training ground, he is the coach, he's in control of everything that every single one of them players do. I think that's what's appealing to a lot of United fans right now, that he is in and he knows everything that these players are doing, and he will pull whoever he wants to pull to one side. And from what we've seen, he won't have a problem doing that.
You're at the training ground today where Lisandro Martinez and Christian Eriksen have met their teammates for the first time. Are you excited about those two names and the potential they have in a red shirt?
Yeah, I think the defence was a big issue as well last season. The midfield's been highlighted quite frequently, and we all know the problems we've got there. But the defence and the type of defender, it's a defender that's comfortable out with the ball. We've never really been a team over the last few seasons that's passed out well from the back. So Martinez and the quality he brings on the ball is definitely something that we're looking forward to see. A player confident on carrying the ball out. And obviously Christian Eriksen just adds that little bit extra quality in that final third. He can play in a few different positions, so that probably will benefit Erik ten Hag in terms of where he wants to fit him in. Obviously, we need a bigger squad this season, 5 substitutes coming in with everything like that, and we're going to need to change it up quite a lot, and he demands a lot from his players from what we're seeing. So we're going to need that quality off the bench as well, and strength in depth is something that we've had before, but again, there's never been that willingness, it would seem, from a lot of the players coming on. I think with Erik ten Hag in charge now, I think we're going to see a little bit more from the players, even off the bench, that they're going to be well drilled and they're going to know exactly what they need to do when they come on the pitch. And it just seems like putting all them little pieces together is what this team needs. And I think both of them players that you mentioned there, Martinez and Eriksen, are players that will add that quality in them areas that we've lacked, especially last season and even seasons before that.
How many more players do you need?
I said all along we needed 6 players. I don't know if we're going to get that. It's obviously a problem now. I do believe that the Ronaldo, it is a problem because Erik ten Hag clearly stated at the start of pre-season that he wanted and was planning the season with Ronaldo in the team. With Ronaldo going and lacking in numbers in the forward line, I don't know if that changes tact in terms of where he looks. He said we're actively looking for a central midfielder. Frenkie de Jong would be ideal. We've covered that over many months already through this summer, but I think 2 central midfielders, a forward player definitely, and possibly cover even at right back still for Aaron Wan-Bissaka, who isn't really, he's not doing it, and Dalot, I don't think he's quite there yet. So I would say we still need at least 3, maybe 4 players.
You mentioned the name Frenkie de Jong there with the same sort of tiredness in your voice that a lot of us are getting because we've discussed his move or non-move so many times over the course of the last few weeks. Are you in this sort of school of thought where you just think, do you know what, forget it, we'll find someone else?
I'm afraid I am, yes. I was like this. If I know Erik ten Hag has said, and the club have said several times, that they're willing to wait and play the long game with him, but I asked the question to Erik in a press conference on tour. I said, is it not ideal? Is it a disadvantage that other teams have got all their players through the door now and are training and getting used to the rest of the squad, and we've only got 1? I do believe now that it's time just to move on. If we're not going to get word of Frenkie de Jong coming in the next couple of weeks before the season starts, then I do think that we do need to move on. There's plenty of other people out there, maybe not as good as what Frenkie de Jong is, but like I said, we need 2 midfielders. This isn't a one-man fix, in my opinion, in terms of the midfield. I think we need 2 midfielders, and there are 2 midfielders out there we know we can get, and probably cheaper as well. So I think the club are backing Erik ten Hag in terms of his main target, and that's probably a good sign for United fans. But it gets to a stage where we've seen this before. We've seen it with many players linked with the club all summer, and then right at the end, it doesn't end up coming, and it sort of sets the season off on the wrong tone. So I would be looking down the roads of maybe someone like Tielemans, Ruben Neves, that type of player now, because they haven't got clubs themselves yet or moves this summer. So I think there's targets there, and I think you get to a stage, like you said, where it's been long enough. We need to move on and start planning ahead.
Final question then. I'm sitting here, 26th of July. I'll give you 4th place. Do you take it?
That's overachieving, in my opinion, with this team right now and the competition in this Premier League. I would take that right now if you offered it me. A cup run would be nice, just to get back to Wembley again, because it seems like we're dropping our standards, but this is what it's been for the last few years with United. We need to get back competing where we was, but we're under no illusion of where we are and where we finished last season, and the quality of manager and teams ahead of us. If you offered me 4th place right now, I would snatch your hand off, definitely.
I wish I had that power. Adam, great to speak to you. Thank you very much.